Friends, until now I introduced you to what is Angular CLI, how to create a basic project using Angular CLI. I also told you how to deploy it onto IIS, and I introduced you with Git. I also introduced you to how to use GitLab and various other concepts. So all these concepts that we have covered so far are absolutely prerequisites just to get started. We haven't even started the topics about Angular crash course. In Angular crash course, there are various topics that we are going to cover. So I'm going to cover these all sections. The first section will be about binding. So it will cover topics like string interpolation, property binding, event binding, class binding, style binding, template reference variable, two-way binding, etc. In the second section, it will be about conditional statements like ngIf, ngSwitch, and how to use ngTemplate in all these conditional statements. Then the third could be about ngFor, that is the iterative statement. Then fourth section could be about the component interaction, like output events can be used to communicate from child to parent, and inputs can be used to communicate from the parent to the child. Services can be used to communicate data between the components. The next topic could be routing, and the next section could be forms. So under both these sections, there can be a number of other topics. So, this is the basic structure in which I'll go forward. And now, how will you use this particular tutorial? So I want all these examples readily available to you. You should be able to download them and you should be able to run them on your system. So for that, I'm going to create some project over here on my GitLab. And let us say the project name will be Angular Crash Course, and it will have various branches. Now for each and every topic that I'm going to cover, there should be a branch. So just download that particular branch and you should be able to get all the source code that is necessary for that particular topic. Like for example, there could be a topic like output events. So here I'll have multiple components, and how those components interact amongst each other. So for that, you just go to that particular branch. Let's say branch number 12, output events. Just go to that particular branch, download the code and run it on your system. So you should be able to see the source code as well as the output right there on your system. So this is a novel approach. Nobody does it, but I'm going to be probably the first tutor to implement this kind of an approach. So this is how we will continue henceforth. And in this particular video, I'll just create that particular GitLab repository, and I will upload a basic Angular project to it. So this is your host Amit Shirasao, and welcome to Aspire Crisp Tutorials, where we keep it short, simple, and to the point. So this is where I keep all my playlists. Now you know it. Now let me create a folder by name project, and inside this I'll just create that Angular project. So I'll open the command terminal here. I'll give the command ng new Angular crash course, and I'll also say enable routing. Now it will ask me which kind of styling do I want. So let's say I want less. So as you can see, it has created the project and it has also initialized the Git. Now I will go to this particular folder, cd Angular crash course, and I'll say code dot. So this should open that particular folder in Visual Studio Code. Now let us inspect what is the project structure formed. So in app, you will see the routing module, and here there are no routes at the moment. In app module, you will see that the bootstrap component is app component. App component has the selector as app root, and that app root you will be able to find over here in index. So that is why app component gets rendered, and in the app component, what you will see is router outlet. So whatever is the router URL, you'll be able to see over here. And above that router URL, you see all this. So you should be able to see all this for every route. And router specific details means the router specific components should only be seen below it. So let us see this in action. I'm just saying Control tilde to open the terminal, or you can also go to View, Terminal. Okay. And here, I don't know why I have to do CLS to see the terminal prompt. Yeah. So here what I'll do is ng serve -o. So this command should basically build the project, then deploy it on Angular development server, and then open that URL in the default browser, which in my case is Chrome. So it has built and it has opened the project in Chrome. So this is what is basically this part, and router outlet is not showing anything because there is no route specified in the routing module. I can demonstrate this by pressing F12, and if I can just inspect, I'll be able to see that router outlet is absolutely blank. There is nothing inside a router outlet, and all this code that is being shown over here is basically just this code which is above the router outlet. Now so far on every page we can see this much content, and below that whatever is the router component that will be shown. So this highlighted part is basically the layout that will be shown on every single page, and we don't want that. So let me clarify the layout. See, on the layout we should only be seeing Angular crash course. Yes, and below that we should see all the routed components. So by default there should be an index page that you should get routed to. So let us create that index page and then let us point it to this particular route. So what we'll do is open the terminal, open another terminal window because we want this Angular server to keep running. Here I don't know why I have to give this CLS to see the command prompt. I'll just give ng generate component and let's say index. So it should create that component. Let me see what kind of a component got created. Yeah, so this green part got created. That means an index component got created, and of course its reference has been added automatically to app modules, but in routing module it hasn't added anything because it does not do it by default. So even now if you see here, the default route is nothing, so nothing is shown below Angular crash course. So let us change this. Let us create a default route. So I'll say path. When the path is blank, that means when after localhost 4200 I haven't given anything, so this is blank. So this is blank. Instead of this, if I write topic 1, so this topic 1 is the route path. Okay, but here in our case the route path is nothing. So that is why instead of writing here topic 1, I have written blank, because this is my default route when user has not given any route. At that time you should go to component, index component, included like this. As you can see, this layout will get repeated for every route, but for the default route this component is being shown at the bottom. Okay, so this part will get repeated for every route, and the route specific component will be shown over here, and the route specific component for default route is index component. So in index component the HTML is index works, so that HTML has come over here. Now instead of index works, I'll be giving the actual index. So let me copy these things from here to here, and I'll save it. So it has all the list of our topics along with sections, and these all should now be shown on the UI. So as you can see, under Angular Crash Course layout, we see the index component, and now index component has all these topics. Friends, until now we have just created this project using Angular CLI. As soon as you create the project using Angular CLI, it automatically initializes the Git. So if you go to the source control, you will be able to see here that the source control is Git. Even if you open this folder in File Explorer, you will be able to see .git folder, which means that local Git repository has been initialized. So you have local Git repository at the moment. Okay, now we need to upload it on global Git repository. That means on some website like GitLab. So let me go to GitLab, gitlab.com. Here I'll have to sign in. If you haven't registered, then choose the register option. I'm signing in. Presently, I do have a lot of projects over here, but let me create another project. So let me go to new project. Let me give a nice name like Angular Crash Course. Okay, now this is the name. As soon as I type in this name, the project slug gets generated automatically. I've already discussed all these things. Let it be public because you need to access it. I've discussed all these things in detail in my Git video, so I'll just run through it at the moment. So as you see, it is blank at the moment. So what I'll have to do is clone, copy this HTTPS path. So it is basically the same path but followed by .git extension. So I'll just go here. I'll say Command Shift P, or alternatively View Command Palette, and here I'll say Add Remote. What is the remote repository's name? It is Angular Crash Course. Okay, it is the same name that I have given to my project, Angular Crash Course. Angular Crash Course. Okay, the same name I have to give over here. Enter. Now it will ask me what is the URL. So this is the same URL that I copied from here, right? This URL. Paste. As I told you, it is the same as your project's URL, but just followed by .git. So here, project's URL followed by .git. Okay. Enter. Now it will turn this option as upload option. So publish option. So when you click on this, you will be able to publish this particular branch onto your global Git repository. So just click on it. It will roll for some time, and after it gets stabilized, you can assume that the branch is uploaded over here. Now if you refresh this page, you should be able to see your code. Okay, so I have uploaded this project in this particular video. So this is your host Amit Shirasao signing off. But before I sign off, I'd like to thank Mr. Koteshwar, who gave a very positive comment on my previous video, and I'll thank him more for the suggestion that he gave me, because I seldom hear things from you guys. You see the video, I see the views, but I do not see likes, dislikes, I do not see comments, either positive or negative. So it is really difficult for me to figure out whether I'm doing the right job or I need some improvement in my ways. But I really thank Koteshwar Rao to be the first person outside my family and friends to comment over my video and let me know what is going right, what is going wrong. So he also told me that you should cover Angular topics in depth. So yes, Koteshwar, I'll try my level best to cover the topics in depth, and this is the index that I will be covering. These are all the topics in Angular that I will be covering. If you have any suggestions, if you want some other topics also to get included into it, please feel free to suggest me. You can comment above my videos, and I assure you that I'm very proactive in reading your comments at the moment, because the number of comments are really less. So I'm very proactive at the moment. Uh, and definitely I will try and incorporate as many suggestions as possible. If I give you an acknowledgement, like I gave Koteshwar over here, that yes, Koteshwar, it's a good idea and I'll do it. So if I write something like this to you, be assured I'll definitely incorporate that suggestion in the upcoming videos. So that's it for this video. Thank you once again, Koteshwar, and thank you to all of you amazing viewers.